Om Namah Shri Shankarananda.
Om Namah Shri Shankarananda.
Gurupadam Bhujanmane.
Gurupadam Bhujanmane.
Savila Samaha Moha.
Savila Samaha Moha.
Graha Graha Saika Karmane.
Graha Graha Saika Karmane.
In the Upanishads, we have some statements which are called as Mahavakyas. A Mahavakya is Jiva, Brahma, Bodhaka, Aikya, Bodhaka, Vakya. A Mahavakya is a statement in the Upanishad which establishes the oneness between Jiva and Brahma. That is the knowledge which is given in that Vakya, that statement. And the Upanishad is full of so many Mahavakyas everywhere. The tradition has taken out 4 of those Mahavakyas from the 4 Vedas and popularized it. And these 4 are actually representative of all the other Mahavakyas which are to be found, where the Jiva and Brahma are the absolute reality, are equated, the one and shown to be one and same. So, this chapter, chapter 5 of the Pañcadaśī, in this book there are only 3 chapters, 5, 10 and 15, the last of the 3 groups, last chapter of all 3 groups of them. In this chapter, chapter 5, there are only 8 verses, and these 8 verses deal with those 4 Mahavakyas which have been extracted from the 4 Vedas that we saw. There's one more wonderful thing about this Pañcadaśī. The teachers tell us that the Pañcadaśī is not like Bhagavad Gita or like some of the other texts which we see. That one chapter is a build-up to the next, and then a build-up and a gradual build-up to one chapter leading to the next or connected to the next in some way. This text is unique in that the chapters can all be read independently. They all stand on their own. That is actually true of Bhagavad Gita also. That's why Bhagavan Shri Krishna says each chapter is an Upanishad all by itself. But there is a connection between one chapter and the next. And to get a complete picture of Gita, you have to study the whole thing. But here, each chapter stands independently. And so, if we choose chapter 5, chapter 10, and chapter 15, that doesn't mean to say that we have completed the whole text. It just means that we study 3 chapters, and any other 3 chapters you can study. But chapter 5 will be, in essence, what is taught in the first 5 chapters. Chapter 10 will be, in essence, what is taught in the next 5 chapters, like that, from 6 to 10. So it's a representative chapter. Same sort of theme will be going on. Okay, so 2 verses in this chapter, chapter 5, 2 verses on each of the Mahavakyas. So we have already studied 2 of the Mahavakyas, Prajnanam Brahma and Prajnanam we saw on the first day is consciousness. Consciousness is Brahma, the infinite reality. And the next day we studied Aham Brahmasmi. Today we have to study the 3rd of these Mahavakyas, which comes in the Samaveda, Chandogya Upanishad of the Samaveda. And that's called Tattvasi Mahavakya. This Tattva-Rasī Mahavakya was given by the great sage Uddalaka to his son Shvetaketu. This great sage, the story goes, had a son by the name of Shvetaketu, who was a little bit tamasic and lazy fellow. That also we don't know so well. Sometimes we say people are tamasic or lazy, but it's just that they are waiting for their own time, because everything has its own time. And usually 6 or 7 years old, that boy will go to the Gurukul and stay there, stay with the Guru. This fellow was 12 years old and he still did not go to the Guru. He did not show signs, he was childish. He did not show signs of going to the Gurukul. So at about 12, the father sent him, now forcefully, now you go there. And he went to the Guru and spent 12 years and came back. So he was 24 years old. And he said he came back a little conceited and stubborn and full of pride and all that. With his new knowledge, newfound knowledge. Like when people come and take brahmachari courses and then they go outside and you ask any question. When a brahmachari now comes out from the ashram, you don't ask any question to them. They will give you 2 years worth of Vedanta in that question. Anyway, this fellow came back and his father realized that he is a little bit conceited. So he asked him, so did the teacher teach you that knowing which everything becomes known? Or did the teacher teach you about hearing when you hear, seeing when you see, tasting when you taste? That sort of question the father asked. Did the teacher teach you that? He said, well, maybe that teacher did not know that, so he didn't teach me. So the father sat him down, and in Chandogya Upanishad now, it's a great sage, Uddalaka, now starts teaching his son Shvetaketu after Gurukul. That's a strange rare thing, but it symbolizes something. But really, the deep study of the Tattva-Rasī Mahavakya and all of these statements of the scriptures really is a later part of the study. First we have to get all the terminologies right and all the ideas, concepts, philosophical tradition, all that, get all of that, those things right. And then the Tattva-Rasī Mahavakya says now, symbolically I'm saying, it is being given to Shvetaketu after he returned to Gurukul. You see. Other thing is, what we can surmise also, is everybody have their own time for becoming ready, you know. Some people learn Vedanta later in their life. Then only it makes some sense. Or you would hear people saying quite often, oh yes, I used to hear my father or grandfather saying that. Now only it makes sense. Have you heard that? Now only that thing makes some sense. So everything has its own time. So maybe Shvetaketu's time had come, and he was a little bit slow to learn that. He was a slow learner, a little bit slow to learn that Vedanta. So now the father tells him what? Tattva-Rasī. Thou art that. So that Tattva-Rasī Mahavakya has become very, very famous. Is what is being now explained in these 2 verses, number 5 and number 6. And 7 and 8 will be Ayam Atma Brahma. Now see these 2 verses. First number 5. Let's see. Ekameva dvitiyam sat
Ekameva dvitiyam sat
Nama rupa vivarjitam
Nama rupa vivarjitam idam
Srishte puradhunapyasya
Srishte puradhunapyasya
Tadriktvam taditiyate
Tadriktvam taditiyate.
Literal meaning of this, and then we'll see. Ekameva advitiyam srishte purad. Pura. Like we have to say. So it has to start like this. Srishte pura. Before this manifested universe, Ekam eva advitiyam sat asit. There was one pure, undivided, without a second, existence. And Nama Rupa Vivarjitam. It was totally devoid of name and form. And Aduna means now. What a wonderful thing. Now also. Aduna api. Asya. Tadritvam tat iti iyate. Iti iyate. Now also, that Sat. Now means what? Now that there is a manifested universe. It talks about Pura. Srishti Pura. Before the manifested universe. But now also means after the manifested universe. Tadritvam asti. It is like that only. So there is still, after the manifested universe, still one undifferentiated, without a second, existence. But this is an amazing thing. That existence, he says, Tat iti iryate. It is called as Tat. That existence is called as Tat. So now, before manifestation, after manifestation, it is the same one Sat which is there. Now I will just give you an example for you to understand this thing. The verse has many wonderful ideas. If you have there, let us say, 5 pounds of clay in a clump. Right? So all you have is clay now, a clump of clay. And how many? 5 pounds. You take the 5 pounds and you put it on the spinning wheel and you spin out of that 5 pounds of clay a pot. So before the pot, before the manifestation of Nama Rupa, pot name and pot shape. Before the manifestation of Nama Rupa, you have 5 pounds of clay. And now after the manifestation of Nama Rupa of pot, in name and form of pot, how many pounds of clay we have? Same, 5 pounds. That means what? The addition of Nama Rupa, if you want to call it addition, the addition of Nama Rupa or the superimposition of Nama Rupa or the manifestation of Nama Rupa on the 5 pounds of clay has done what to the clay? It has done nothing. And this is a truism about the world. The addition of the superimposition on a substratum or a fundamental material of Nama Rupa, addition of Nama Rupa or the superimposition of Nama Rupa on a substratum never does anything to the substratum. The Nama Rupa, name and form, are superficial superimpositions. They are superficial. Means, and here superficial has to be taken to mean that they are really unreal superimpositions. So now, when we say unreal, it's like this. From the new formed pot, which has the 5 pound of clay, if we remove one molecule, one atom of clay, one by one, and we put it aside, this pot, you're removing one atom of clay and putting it aside. After you remove all the atoms of clay and put it aside, the Nama-Rupa which was there, where does it go? It vanishes, isn't it? If that Nama-Rupa was real, the Nama-Rupa should have remained. Because I only removed clay, I did not remove Nama-Rupa. One molecule or one atom of clay, one by one I removed. Nama-Rupa disappeared. When we remove the fundamental material substance, the Nama-Rupa also vanished. It means to say Nama-Rupa was an unreal superimposition which does not have an independent existence of its own. If it had an independent existence of its own, when I remove only clay, Nama-Rupa should have stayed there. In the very same way, all this entire universe which we see before us is Nama-Rupa. And what is the fundamental material? Sat. So, it says, Srishtehe Pura, before the appearance of all of these names and forms. Ekam Advitiyam, Ekam Eva Advitiyam Sat Asit. There was one before all this noun form. Just like before the pot appearance, there was one uniform clump of clay. It was just pure clay only. Before the manifestation of all of these names and forms, there was only one uniform existence. And now, Aduna, with all the manifested names and forms, there is still only one sun. There is still only that 5 pound of clay there, and there is nothing else. I just showed you there is nothing else, because Nama-Rupa, which is superimposed on that clay, is a false superimposition. It doesn't have a real, an independent reality of its own. So now, Nama-Rupa is not a real thing as compared to clay. That Nama-Rupa and clay is not a real thing as compared to clay. So here, this whole universe has one fundamental material. The clay of the universe is Sat. And all that you and I, all human beings, trees and buildings and plants and everything that you see, all objects, they're just Nama-Rupa on the clay of existence. And now if we remove that clay of existence, if we can remove, what will remain in this universe? Nothing. Zero. So, this is the idea. Now, it says, that thing which is the fundamental substratum of the universe, that is called as Tat. So Tat is referring to what? Sat only. That's why we say Tat Sat. You see now? That is referring to Sat. Om Tat Sati. Tat is Sat. So that Tattvamasi Mahavakya has 3 words: Tat and Tvam. And last word, Asi. Asi means you are. You are. You are what? That. That's Sat. Look here, I tell you, there is no need even to study the next word. The Tvam word, Tvam Pada, there is no need. What we just said, the verse, the mantra itself is telling, what a wonderful thing. Before the manifestation of all these names and forms, there was only one uniform Sat. Ekam. Eva Advitiyam. undivided Sat. Now, after the manifestation of all these names and forms, there is still only that one Sat. That means to say all these appearances of name and forms, all our bodies are name and form only. Usually this body is a human being. When you see dog, animal, there's a name, and that form is different. Tidyam. So one name, one form. And how many names and forms are there in this universe? No end. So now also there is still only that one Sat. That one Sat is called as Tat. That is indicated by the word Tat. Now, the rest of the words in the verse is just to explain some things about that Sat. Sat, which is being indicated as Tat. Now, what is this? He said, Ekam, Eva, and 3 words are given. 3 words are given. You will see Guruji also gives in his note there. But these 3 words are given because there are 3 types of distinctions which are pointed out in the scriptures. Like, for example, there is this watch which is distinct from this microphone. There is one type of distinction, isn't it? Then there is this watch which will be distinct from another watch. So in the classes of watches, in the class of watches itself, there will be one watch. You have to watch to know. There will be one watch which is different from another watch. So in its own class of things, there will be distinction. Then in this watch itself, there will be distinct parts. So then one we call a long hand and one we call a short. Forget about class. In the watch itself, there will be different types of distinctions. Or the human body. See, another example is the human body. In this one human body, there will be arms, legs, head, like that, distinction. So they call it Swagata Bheda. In Sanskrit, they call it Swagata Bheda. Means in the thing itself, there are variations. Swagata Bheda. There are distinctions and variations in the thing. One part different from another part. Then the other one is called Swajatiya, means in its own jati, in its own class of things. Watches. There are different types of watches. One digital watch, one non-digital watch. What kind of, and then grandfather clock. One fellow said of his friend, my friend borrowed my grandfather clock. Now he owes me big time. So there's grandfather clock and this type of clock and that type of watch. But they call us Swajatiya. The other one is called Vijatiya. Vijatiya means? Vijatiya means that there is distinction from one species to a next, or one class of things to, like watches and microphones. So he says, Ekam, Eva, Advitiyam. 3 words are given to indicate the absence of these 3 types of distinction in that one uniform, unadulterated, undifferentiated Sat. The Sat has none of these types of distinction. These are the 3 types of distinction that are possible. And in that reality, which was there, Pura, there is none of these types of distinction. That is what the first phrase is telling. Ekam eva advitiyam sat nama rupa vivarjitam. It was, now you see, let me just clarify one more thing and before we continue. The verse says Pura. Srishtehe Pura. before, and you will see the translation also which is being used, before the creation. The word is not an exact word. When Guruji uses the word, or when it is used in Vedanta, we actually mean before the manifestation. Before the manifestation. Before the universe, you see things like, for example, now I have a mango seed, let us say. In that mango seed, there is a mango tree or not? There's a mango tree. So in that seed, there is an unmanifested mango tree. When you put it in the ground, it becomes manifest. So it is okay to speak about before manifestation and after manifestation. But after manifestation, we see a big tall tree standing there. Before manifestation, we just see some white stuff inside that seed. We don't know what it is. But there is a tree there. So the universe, entire universe, goes through this whole process of manifest and unmanifest. Manifest and unmanifest. This is what the universe is going through. Right? So at one time the universe is in manifestation, another time in unmanifest. Quite akin to what is being seen in science right now. They said yesterday they discovered a black hole where all things get absorbed. You know. They got a picture of a black hole for the first time. I don't know how the pictures are absorbed in that black hole. But anyway, they got a picture. No, so the universe goes through these stages of manifest to unmanifest. But whether manifest or unmanifest, no, it doesn't matter. What is there is only pure existence. Now, we say before and after. It doesn't mean to say at one time there is no universe and another time. It's just that the universe is in a state of unmanifest and then the universe becomes manifest again. That is the level, at the level of manifest, unmanifest. But whether level of manifest or unmanifest, we say, here it says, Nama and Rupa in no way affects the existence or makes the existence variegated. Nama Rupa Vivarjita means free from Nama and Rupa. So the superimposition of Nama Rupa on a substratum doesn't make the substratum variegated. It means it doesn't break it up or cut it up or limit it or make it finite or do anything to it. That is the Vivarjitam word is very important. Nama Rupa cannot do it like this. Do waves in the ocean do anything to H2O? Waves in no way can affect H2O. You form whatever wave you want, whatever size you want, and you drown whatever ship you want, and Titanic or whatever you drown. But in the end, the H2O remains intact, untouched, isn't it? So that existence, which is the substratum for every Nama Rupa, is Nama Rupa Vivarjita. The kind of thinking that you have to really do contemplation on these things for it to sink in. It's enormous. And right now, I am existence and not this Nama Rupa, which I call as body, mind and intellect. I am not any of this which I have been taking to be myself. I am the existence which is the substratum for the Nama Rupa, which I call as me. Because when I say me, I refer to my body, mind and intellect, which is here. BMI. You got to have a BMI chart too. This body, mind, intellect is a perceiver, feeler and thinker. Body perceives, objects. My eyes can see. If I close my eyes, I cannot see this. The mind feels emotions, and the intellect thinks thoughts. And this whole PMI here I call as me. And this whole OET is the universe, the world. And here is my interaction with this world. This is me, this is what we think. This is me, this is the world. And this is my interaction with the world. I'm perceiving objects, feeling emotions, and thinking thoughts. So I take this to be me, but I am really Sat. I am really the pure existence. To make that shift in identification from with BMI to Sat, which is the substrata, is what is the task of a Vedanti. Be careful when you say Vedanti. Vedanti. In Hindi they say Vedanti. Vedanti means without teeth. Down with teeth. Bathe without. So the task of the Vedanti is to make that shift in identification from the Nama Rupa. This Nama Rupa Prasarana, which the Drishya Vivek speaks about, is the most amazing. Let us spend a little bit more time here reflecting on this Nama Rupa. If you take clay, you can fashion a pot out of it, right? You can, in other words, clay can make many objects. You can make a dog, an elephant, a cat, so many table, chairs, so many tangible things you can make out of clay. You can shape it in whichever way you want, right? So, you can go on making many objects, but there are some things in the universe which you will not be able to make out of clay. If you can make a table or a dog, clay allows itself to take on the Nama Rupa. Clay allows itself to take the Nama Rupa of a table or a dog. But take clay and make air. Air exists or not? Air exists. But clay does not allow itself to take on the Nama Rupa of air. What about a thought? Take clay and make a thought. But thought exists or not? Thought exists, air exists, an idea exists, you see, concept, they exist. But you can't take clay and make a concept. It means it allows itself to take certain Nama Rupa, but it doesn't allow itself to take any and every Nama Rupa. It has limitations. But existence is such that it can take infinite, any conceivable, inconceivable Nama Rupa. Because when I just say a thought, the thought exists or not? The thought exists. If it exists, that means every part of it exists. This thing exists? Yes. Every part of it exists. That means every part of it is made up of existence. If you really think about when we say this thing exists, what we are really saying in the final analysis is this thing is made up of existence. Like every thought is made up of it because every part of it exists. When I touch it, I am really not touching, not only touching Nama Rupa, I am touching existence. And existence is touching existence. And the touching also exists. Look here, there is the touched, there is the toucher, and there is the touching. All three exist or not? The Sat which is being described here is that Sat, existence which makes up, because all three exist, the touching also exists. This existence is what I call as Tat. That existence is the only one thing in the universe. Now, as I say, when you look at this thing, we say it exists and it has Nama Rupa. The Nama Rupa also exists or not? Nama Rupa also exists. When we reflect like this, everything resolves itself or dissolves into existence. So there is only one pure existence in the universe. That's why I said before and now also. There is only one pure existence. There is nothing else. The Nama Rupa also exists. So then what you end up with is only existence. Previously I was telling Nama Rupa is false. Right? I was telling previously Nama Rupa is false. It's a false superimposition. That is the first stage of analysis. Secondly, you say, no, but I see it. I see Rupa. If you are seeing it, that means it has some level of existence. So the Nama Rupa normally means that there is nothing in the world. And my understanding of what I just said also exists. That understanding also is only existence. And I say that there was a prior time when I did not understand, and now there is a present time when I understand. Prior and present also exist. So now what is the universe? Existence. Your reply also exists. So there is only pure existence. Before and now. And Bhagavad Gita said that existence never goes out of existence. There will be a contradiction in terms. Existence cannot go out of. Let us say, you just imagine anything about existence. Let us say we are able to send existence out of existence, right? Let us just say. So you send existence out of existence. So what will be left is a void. The void exists or not? The void will exist or not? So in other words, you cannot send existence out of existence. So it says this Sat is Nama Rupa Vivarjitam. It means the Nama Rupa which we see, which is called as Mithya. In Vedanta technical word is Mithya. It is an appearance. Right? We see it. So even though we see it, that can also be resolved into existence. So therefore Nama Rupa Vivarjita. Sishte Pura Aduna Apiyasya Tvam Tat Iti. That existence is called as Tat. So now in the Tattvamasi Mahavakya, when we see the first word, we are referring to the pure one existence without a second. Ekam eva advitiya. Non-dual existence. With nothing else in it. It is an amazing thing how that existence lends itself to taking infinite number of names and forms. When any other thing that we know in the world, you take wood, you can only make certain things with wood, a table and a chair, or a few things, covered, right? Or else you'll make with wood, or paper maybe, or food nowadays. There's some tree there, making pulp out of that tree, and they're putting in all your food, cereal and all kind of thing, you don't know. So you're making food out of it. But, I mean, few things you can make out of a tree, of wood. See? So while certain things in the world lend themselves to taking certain Nama Rupa, Sat lends itself to taking any Nama Rupa, conceivable or inconceivable. And that Nama Rupa will only be Sat. What else it will be? The Nama Rupa itself will be made up of, because it exists or not. Yes. Nama Rupa is there. So if it is there, it is. And now see, grammatically if you study everything in this world, existence precedes any sentence you can make. Okay. If I say, this watch is yellow. This watch is yellow. I have to be speaking about an existing watch or not. The existence of the watch has to precede any predication thereafter, isn't it? First, the watch has to exist, then only I can say something about the watch. Because I will not be able to say anything there, nothing there. It has to first exist. That's the object has to first exist, then we can say anything about the object. Then the subject himself, who is saying now, he has to exist before he can say anything about the object. So existence has to precede both subject and object. Your existence has to precede both. Then when whatever he says or says about that object, that thing also has to be preceded by existence. Otherwise, his saying will amount to naught. His saying, whatever he says, that also has to be preceded by existence. So existence is required for the subject, the object, and the relationship, whatever is going on between the two also. Existence has to precede everything. Therefore, the great statement, I think, therefore I exist. The French philosopher René Descartes has given this very famous statement, I think, therefore I exist. It means to say, if thinking is going on, existence has to be, otherwise a non-entity is thinking or what? Nobody is thinking. But that is a contradiction in terms. There is no entity but thinking is going on. If thinking is going on, that means to say some entity who is there who is thinking. So like this, you have to study this existence from all standpoints. That existence is always there and cannot go out of existence. What a wonderful thing. Thank God. Thank existence. And it's ekam eva advitiyam. It never ever, ekam eva advitiyam means never ever has any differentiation and distinctions in it. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Take clay and you make a snake. And you make a snake with this mouth open. Take clay and make a snake and you put two fangs. Right? Take the clay, make a snake, mouth open and two fangs. The clay which goes into making the fangs, would that clay become poisonous or what? Or if you take clay and you make Ram, and you take clay and you make Ravan, that clay which made Ravan becomes sinful or what? After you take back the clay from Ravan and take back the clay from Ram and you put them together, would you be able to distinguish which clay was Ravan and which clay was Ram? It means the superimposition of Ravan on this clay and the superimposition of Ram on this clay did not make the clay divine or papi. Sinful clay or Ram means divine clay. Superimposition of the name and form on the clay does nothing to the clay. If you have to remember this, it means whatever is going on in this universe, whatever is happening in this universe, is just the play of Nama Rupa on the existence. And in the end, what happens to the existence? That's why I keep telling all these students, after all is said and done, nothing is said or done. You go and see all your world play, and this and that. In the end, after all the waves have come and gone, H2O remains as H2O. The same H2O, all molecules were there, and they are there, and they don't go anywhere, and nothing happens to them. So the existence which is behind this universe is Nama Rupa Vision, not affected by any of the play of Nama Rupa which you see, which we are seeing. So many meanings of this Vajita. All of the play of the universe. And see, when we study this thing also at this level, whatever is going on in our life, see at the bodily level there are pains and aches and this and that. At the mental level, so many types of emotions storming in and out of the mind. At the intellectual level, so much of confusion, perpetual confusion, which shows so glaringly on face. It is just all Nama Rupa on existence. If that is grasped, none of those things will affect. Nama Rupa Prasarana. So, this Sat, which is the substratum for all Nama Rupa in this universe, that Sat is Tat. Tat Sat. Now, the next word is Tvam. You. Ordinary being. Now let us see next. Shrotur dehendriyatitam vastwatra tvam paderitam Ekata grahyate siti Tadaikyam anubhuyatam. So now I'll just tell you the literal meaning and then we'll see this one tomorrow. Shrutu. Shrutuhu. Shrutu means the listener, the hearer, inquirer, seeker, all that kind of Shrutu. That is who you are, all of us, we are listening now. Then Dehendriya. Deha and Indriya. Deha means this body and Indriya means all our senses. Dehendriya. Atitam. Atitam means that which is beyond my ears, this body, and all the senses, and the mind. Actually, the mind here will be shown to the one who is ultimate hearer inside the mind. So, beyond Atitam, transcending all of them, beyond all of them, Vastu Atra Tvam Pada Ekam. The thing or the being which is beyond all of them is indicated here by the word Tvam. So, now, means Tvam is not this body, mind and intellect. It is the one who is beyond the body, mind and intellect. That is the first line. Ekata grahyate asi iti. The asi word, Tat Tvam Asi is the Mahavakya, right? Tat Tvam Asi. Tat, just now we saw is Sat. Now what is Tvam? Tvam is the one who is beyond the body, mind and intellect. Just now we saw also Tat is Om. Now Tvam is also Om, beyond the body, mind and intellect. The Asi word, he says, is connoting the oneness between the two, Tat and Tvam. And now the last phrase is very nice, so we'll see this tomorrow. Tadaikyam anukuyatam. We should experience the oneness between the two. The all-pervasive, ekam, eva, advitiyam, sat, existence which is uniformly present. That's Sat. And me, the deepest part of me, beyond my body, mind and intellect. Between those two, there is a oneness. That oneness has to be experienced. That oneness should be experienced. You see, Vedanta is not just intellectual thing, you know. Vedanta is not just to study intellectually how this is derived, how that is. Vedanta is about that experience of Anubhuti. The experience of the oneness between myself and the all-pervasive Sat. This last phrase is actually the crux of Vedanta. It's very important. We'll see tomorrow. Okay. Actually, I am not in any hurry to finish anything. I hope you all are not in any hurry also. Because the finishing exists. And nothing is going. Anyway, nobody is going. Anyway, we'll see tomorrow. Om